Story 2. The Tale of the Merchant and the Genie. The Merchant's Journey. In the vast and arid desert of ancient Persia, a wealthy merchant embarked on a long journey, trading goods from one city to another. This merchant was known far and wide for his honesty and diligence. One scorching afternoon, as the sun blazed fiercely, he decided to rest under the shade of a grand, solitary tree by an oasis. The gentle sound of trickling water and the cool shade offered much-needed relief from the desert heat. The merchant, feeling grateful, sat down and began to enjoy a simple meal of bread, dates, and water. As he savored the sweet, succulent dates, he absent-mindedly tossed the pits away. The tranquility of the moment was shattered when, out of nowhere, a terrifying genie, as tall as a palm tree and as furious as a storm, appeared before him. The genie's vengeance. The genie's eyes burned with anger as he glared at the merchant. "Stand and face your fate, mortal," the genie bellowed, "for you have killed my son with your carelessness. One of those date pits struck him down, and now you shall pay with your life." The merchant, trembling with fear, fell to his knees and pleaded for mercy. "O mighty genie, I beg of you, spare my life. I had no intention of causing harm. I did not know that a pit could bring such tragedy. Please, grant me a year to return to my home, settle my affairs, and bid farewell to my loved ones. I promise to return and face my fate." The genie, though seething with anger, saw the sincerity in the merchant's eyes and agreed. "You have 1 year," he growled. "But if you do not return, I will find you, and your fate will be worse than death." The merchant's farewell. The merchant hurried back to his home, where he was greeted with joy by his family. He embraced his wife and children, and over the following months, he carefully settled his business affairs and ensured his family would be provided for in his absence. His heart was heavy with sorrow, but he knew he had to honor his promise. As the year drew to a close, the merchant bid a tearful farewell to his family. He made his way back to the oasis, prepared to face the genie and accept his fate. Along the way, he met 3 old men, each leading a different animal. One had a mule, the second had 2 black dogs, and the third had a deer. Seeing the merchant's sorrowful expression, they asked him what troubled him so deeply. The first old man's tale. The merchant recounted his encounter with the genie and the promise he had made. The 3 old men, moved by his story, decided to accompany him to the oasis. They offered to share their own tales with the genie, hoping to amaze him and secure the merchant's release. The first old man, leading the mule, spoke first. "Great genie, listen to my tale, and if you find it astonishing, spare this merchant's life." The genie, intrigued, agreed to listen. The old man began his story. "I was once a wealthy merchant, much like this man. I had a beautiful wife who was also a skilled sorceress. However, she was jealous and vengeful. When she discovered that I had taken a mistress, she turned my beloved son into a calf and my mistress into a cow. Desperate and heartbroken, I sought help from a kind woman who worked for me. She was able to reverse the spell, turning my son back into a human. But the memory of that dark time remains with me." The genie, fascinated by the tale, nodded his approval and turned to the second old man. The second old man's tale. The second old man, holding the leashes of 2 black dogs, stepped forward. "O mighty genie, my tale is no less wondrous. If it pleases you, grant this merchant his life." He began his story. "I had 2 brothers, both greedy and jealous. They conspired to take my wealth and left me for dead in the wilderness. By sheer luck, I was found and nursed back to health by a kind shepherd. Upon my return, I discovered that my brothers had squandered my fortune and were living in poverty. Instead of seeking revenge, I forgave them and shared what little I had left. However, they plotted against me once more, and this time, a wise and powerful genie took pity on me. To punish my brothers, he turned them into these black dogs you see before you." The genie, visibly impressed, motioned for the third old man to share his tale. The third old man's tale. The third old man, guiding the deer by his side, began his story. "Great Genie, if my tale captivates you, please spare this merchant's life." He spoke of his own misfortune. "I was once married to a beautiful and loving woman. However, she fell ill and passed away, leaving me heartbroken. After years of mourning, I remarried, but my new wife was envious of my daughter from my first marriage. Using dark magic, she transformed my daughter into a deer. For years, I searched for a way to break the spell. Finally, I met a wise old woman who taught me how to reverse the enchantment. My daughter was restored, but the experience left me wary of those who wield magic with ill intentions." The genie's decision. The genie, thoroughly entertained by the three tales, pondered for a moment. Each story had moved him, and he saw the value of mercy and forgiveness in their narratives. Turning to the merchant, the genie spoke with a softened tone. "Your friends' tales have indeed amazed me. I will honor their request and spare your life." Relieved and overjoyed, the merchant thanked the genie and his new friends profusely. The three old men, having witnessed the power of storytelling and the value of compassion, bid the merchant farewell and continued on their journeys. The merchant returned home to his family, filled with gratitude and a newfound appreciation for life. He shared his experience with them, emphasizing the importance of kindness, forgiveness, and the transformative power of stories. His tale, along with those of the three old men, became legendary in the land, reminding all who heard them of the enduring strength of compassion and the magic of storytelling.